Welcome to the only real estate podcast worth listening to, with your hosts Nick Good, Matt Kelderman, and Brian Force. Combined, they have 26 years of experience and have sold over 1,500 homes. Join them each week as they bring you everything you need to know about real estate. And now, here are your hosts, Nick, Matt, and Brian.
All right, we have a great show today. We have entrepreneur, author, social media genius, Ryan Stewman here with us today. And I mean, he's a great friend of mine, so I can attribute a lot of my online social media success of what Ryan has taught me. So Ryan, give us that 60-second bird's eye view of who you are.
Well, I would say first, where's the camera at in here? We're live on something,
You're right
we
there.
gotta know where to.
Little
we're
one.
right here. Okay, we
Yep.
got to wave to people
Yes,
and
sir.
stuff. So,
Yes,
what's up,
sir.
everybody? I'm a prolific mistake maker. I think that's how I got as experienced as I am. I mean, in order to become an expert at anything, you have to do experiments to gain some experience so that you can become an expert, right? And I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, all the daily. You know what I mean? Still at this point. And because of that, I've gained a lot of wisdom through the experience, and I got the moniker, the hardcore closer, because, I've had a hell of a hardcore life in all reality. I was adopted at age 7, left home at age 15 or 16, probably before that, but actually left for good when I was about 16. Left school in the 9th grade. Hell, I've served time in about 11 different prisons throughout the state of Texas. And yet, despite all of that, I've still done pretty good in business. I'm one of those guys that hasn't let the mistakes that I made in the past hold me back. Because I think that happens to a lot of people. They make one mistake. Me, I've made millions, right? But some people, they just make one mistake, and oftentimes it's not even that bad. And they just beat themselves up their whole life for it. And they never feel like they deserve the things that they're working for or get. And I was like that. That's why I can speak from experience, But I've been able to get over the fear of my mistakes or my past or everything, and been actually able to use it as like a power move, almost like a crutch, because, we think we have to be perfect to be in the public eye and be on a podcast or whatever. But the truth is, if we were perfect, we'd be boring. Nobody wanted to listen to us, right? They're betting right now. It's Stewman going to fuck up, or is it going to be Nick? It's going to be, you know what I mean?
We've set a lot of traps in this podcast.
Yeah, they're waiting. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what keeps it entertaining. Plus, everybody deep inside knows that they're a fuck up too. And so really, when you just admit your flaws, you end up connecting with more people than running them off anyway.
Absolutely. And so you built, how many businesses do you have?
Right now, I have 5.
5. And your niche market is really that real estate market, right? So you were a loan officer back in the heyday of when anybody could get a loan, right?
Sort of. So I started being a loan officer in 2003. Everybody could get a loan then. Yeah. I ended my career in 2010 when nobody could get a loan. And I didn't quit because I wasn't doing business. I mean, in 2009, I made $300,000, fresh out of prison. I got out of prison July 8th of July 7th, 2008. By December of 2009, I'd made $350,000, back in the worst time to be in the mortgages period. I did 163 loans, and you could tell I was doing them volume and not gross, right? But I was just like, come on, give me the numbers, you know what I mean? I'll make it work. And so, but because I had been to federal prison for firearms trafficking, the licenses went from being issued by the state of Texas to issued by the feds. And the feds are like, hell no, you're on probation. Don't you report to us once a month? No, you can't write loans anymore. And so that's kind of why I was forced into this. And if you'd asked me that question 2 years ago, I'd said, yeah, real estate agent's my core business, but it's really not anymore. Now, one of my personal businesses is real estate, but most of our clients are not realtors anymore. And I guess because my message has gone a little bit different, I only want to teach what I know.
Right.
And so in the beginning, all I knew was mortgages. So I didn't even teach real estate people. I just taught mortgage people. Then the realtors were like, well, if you're teaching them how to get real estate leads, don't you think it makes sense to teach us? So I started working with some realtors. And, flash forward, I've been doing this for 9 years now. Now most of the people I work with are small business owners like me because I'm teaching. I own a software company. I own a real estate. Really, it's not even a real estate investing company. It's an asset holding company, and we do all sorts of stuff, loans and everything else in between. And I've been able to scale each of those businesses because of social media. And so really that's more of who my clients are these days. If they're in real estate, they're typically either the investor that owns an LLC or they're the broker that owns a brokerage, right? If they're a mortgage person, it's not the individual loan officer anymore. It's the guy that runs a branch or the guy that owns the mortgage company.
Gotcha. And if you, to kind of piggyback off of what you just talked about, if you listen to episode 4, we talked about mindset. So, this question is not going to be social media related, but so when you got banned from being able to originate mortgages, where did your mindset go, and then how did you pull yourself out to start, going into, basically you were, when I remember you, we were at a networking event. The first time I met you was at one of those Frisco networking events. I said, "What are you doing?" You're like, "I don't really know how to explain what I do right now." You were at that time going in that online marketing world. So where was your mindset, and how did you pull yourself out?
Well, it's pretty devastating when you lose your ability to earn income, right? I knew 2 things my whole life: washing cars, financing houses. And wasn't going back to washing cars. It's fucking hot here in Texas. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm above that at that point. So I went to go talk to a mutual friend of ours, Mike Reese, and maybe ask for a job being an ISA for him or something so I could figure the shit out, right? And Mike gives me some DVDs on internet marketing, and he's like, "I think you should start your own business. Why would you want to come back and work for somebody else? You're better than that." And at the time, I didn't necessarily agree with him because I just wanted to be a salesman. I didn't want to do the CEO shit and this marketing. I just wanted to sell, And but I saw a new age of selling through those DVDs that he gave me, and through some hard work and everything, I got the stuff to work out. But my first venture outside of mortgages was social media management. And at the time you asked me, I was probably still I probably wasn't to that piece yet. I was probably about to get there. But nobody believed in Facebook back then. One of the ways I got the moniker, the hardcore closer, was because I had to totally change somebody's mind on social media. Mm-hmm. Like, people didn't believe in it. They would be like, "Facebook, like the fucking thing that my mom sends me stickers on? Like, dude, how am I going to make money from that?" And nobody believed me, but I knew it was possible because I had made money from Facebook when I was a loan officer. And then as I got more results down the road with the loan officers, everybody started kind of, "Oh shit, you can make money from Facebook." And now that's like common sense knowledge. Like, right. Yeah, you can make money from your social networks. But back then nobody had heard of it. So I was like way ahead of my time. And that can be cool at one point because now I get to sit back and be like, I'm an OG in the game or whatever, right? But at the time, dude, it was hard to convince people to double down on something they didn't believe in. But I guarantee you, everybody that told me no back in the day wishes they'd told me yes.
Right. Yeah.
Imagine if somebody would have been doing that since 2010 or 11 in the way that I would. Hell, they'd be as big as I am or bigger.
So let's dive into that. I know that we've got some questions on it, but how did you get that success? How did you convince people in that beginning? Like, let's take us back to 2010. We're going back in time. What did that program or that world look like?
Well, so it's funny. There was 2 people that were like my first 2 clients, and both of them very well. I'll say their names here in a minute. And it's amazing to see the people that bought in, what became of them. My first client was JP Piccinini, JPAR Realty. That guy's doing a couple $2 billion in real estate now. When he was my client, it was literally him and one other person working out of an apartment. Flash forward a short period of time, they're crushing it. The other one was Dustin Black. Okay. And now he has one of the fastest growing, if not the biggest moving company in America. I helped those guys get started on social media. Now, I'm not taking credit for their businesses. That would be foolish of me. But I'm saying they were the first 2 dudes to say, "Hey, man, you know what? I'll try it. Here, take my money." And obviously it's panned out very well for them. Their social media is crazy, But what I did was I got good results for them and another guy, Sean, that I worked with at the time. And so other people started coming along. Or when I would show up at those networking parties at the time, those guys would say, "Well, yeah, he runs my stuff." So it would help me start getting deals or whatever. But it was very difficult to convince people. But the people that came along they're all crushing it now. I don't know one of them who signed up back in the day who's not some sort of, online celebrity in their local marketplace.
And what is that, what does that look like today? Are we doing, is it paid ads? Is it organic? I mean, is it creating a group like your, the salespeople group? What does that look like?
What's funny, because it really has evolved. In the beginning, it was just organic social media. I have this thing I call the M3 method. And if you look at any piece of media, from newspapers to magazines to TV, radio, they all follow the same pattern. And a lot of people, they're not paying enough attention to these patterns to pick them up, but I'll make it really easy for you. The media operates on an 80-20 window. Okay, 80% has to 80% of the content has to entertain the crowd. 20% has to pay the bills. So if you watch TV, you got 10, 15 minutes worth of a TV show, 3 or 4 minutes worth of commercials, 10, unless it's football, then it's 30 seconds of football, 10 minutes of commercials, 30 seconds of football. But any other thing, it's 80% the content that you want to see, 20% to pay the bills. So we tolerate those ads. We're like, hey, if we want to watch the next episode of True Detective, we're going to have to sit through a Folgers commercial, right? And it's accepted. Same on the radio. You want to listen to the next, whatever song, you're going to have to listen to a few ads in between, even on Spotify, Pandora. Even if you go to Google, 80% is organic search results, 20% is paid ads. If you look at Facebook, 5 or 6 scrolls, and then you're back to another advertisement. In magazines, 4 or 5 pages worth of articles. So this is a repeated process that's everywhere, and yet so many people, you go on their social media channel, and they're like, hey, buy my shit, buy my shit, buy my shit. I sell shit. I got shit for sale. They're selling, and they forget the 80% part. They're wondering why they don't get business from it because they're only 20%. Nobody. And I repeat, nobody has ever thought about launching a TV or a radio channel where they're like, it's all commercials 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Check us out. Right? And so once you start understanding that there's these patterns that have been proven since the dawn of time, it's even been said that on the old ancient papyrus papers that they used in Egypt, that there was advertisements on roughly 10 to 20% of the writings that they were using. So this is an ancient formula that's worked forever. And so first we started teaching people how to use this, right? How to create 80% of content. How would you do that? Well, first of all, people are on it and social media to be entertained. So you have to identify who your perfect customer is. And then you have to think of the content that would entertain them. Then you have to think of the way to place a commercial within that content. Like if you watch Saturday Night Live right now, which nobody should, I highly recommend don't watch it. Terrible show. Garbage. But they do, it's garbage, but they have product placement everywhere. Every time you see them with anything, they're holding brand name products, they're drinking brand name sodas, they have brand name cereal boxes, brand name shit on the counter. That's product placement, and you got to do the same thing within your social media. And so we taught that. Then it evolved. Facebook started letting people have ads. When I started this, there wasn't an ad platform on Facebook. Right. So then ads came out, and we started funnels and everything else. And funnels have kind of become like MySpace. Man, remember MySpace was cool, and then there was a point where they did too much. Right? Like you go to MySpace and you land on it, and it's like your cursor turned into a glitter fart from a unicorn, and Nickelback starts playing, "This is how you remind me," and you got your top 8 friends waving at you and all this, and it became too much, and people went, well, fuck, dude, I can't keep up with the latest MySpace layer. I'm going to Facebook. Simpler. Right. And Facebook was back in the day. Funnels are kind of making that same evolution. They got way too complicated and way too fancy and competitive, which is all sexy for the internet marketing crowd, but for a real estate agent, all they need is a picture of a house. Mm-hmm. And so we start running funnels. Funnels caught on big time. They still are working really well. And about 4 years ago, I got to thinking to myself, I said, well, where's the only place where they're not running ads on social media? And it's in Facebook groups. It's the only place that I can name that they don't run ads yet. I'm sure it's fucking coming. Yeah. But so I said, man, I got to hurry up and build this Facebook group list, right? And we built the largest sales group on Facebook of 80,000 people. And the reason why I share all that with you is it's been a progression. It went from organic to funnels and ads now to really mining this group, because I was having a conversation earlier, and one of my clients asked me, he said, how much did you spend on ads last month? And I said, I think I spent $7,000. And he goes, damn, only $7,000? And I said, man, you know what? We're at a point where we really don't have to. We've got, an email list of 100,000 people. We've got a Facebook group with 80,000 people, 150 on Instagram, 150,000 on Instagram, 200,000 on Facebook. All we got to do is just keep putting content out, and it's starting to grow itself. And I was like, now there was a time where I was spending $100,000, $200,000 a month. Yep. But now that we built it up, it's like got the machine rolling or whatever. And really, we've taken that same cost and put it into other avenues of growing the business, getting shout outs from influencers and things like that, as opposed to direct ads. So it's an ever evolving thing. I would expect if you had me back here a year from now to say something completely different than what we're doing now.
Well, that's actually a good kind of a jumping in point, because what we try to break it down to appealing to the individual agent at the lowest level, right? We want to talk to people who are running high level teams, or medium-sized team, large team, medium team, or all the way down to the individual agent, right? For myself, my team, I run all of our social media, paid, organic, everything, and it's like a fucking full-time job for me. It is. I obsess over our KPIs. Things change all the time. So as I'm an individual agent, I need to be doing better on social media, both platforms, paid and organic. what is working right now? What is my Ryan Stewman advice for somebody who does not have a full-fledged media company behind them, who doesn't have a full-time job in the day that they could just focus on just social media? What are my basic 1, 2, or 3 things that I need to be doing every day to make sure that I'm at least branding myself properly?
Dude, I could answer that better than anybody, I believe.
That's what I asked.
The first thing that you have to do is you have to become the attractive character.
Yeah.
Okay. So many people screw this up, and I could show you a million examples on my phone. When someone lands on your Facebook page, right? That's like a handshake. That's like Nick introducing me to you for the first time, and us shaking hands. You're making that judgment. Is this dude a douche? Is he cool? Is he ego? Is he humble? Is he a good guy, or is he a scamster? Right? Like all these things that we as humans have, these emotions that come up between us, right? And so the same thing happens when they see you on social media. That same first impression, that's your digital handshake. So the first thing that you need to be is the attractive character to whoever it is that you want visiting your profile. We're not just we don't care about your mom visiting your profile or your sister visiting your profile or your wife or whatever. What we care about is the people who find you somewhere and then Google you and find their way to social media to figure out who you are, where they want to give you their real estate business, right? Like if you're a realtor, they're looking you up.
Yep.
And if you have a shitty Facebook profile full of a bunch of spam and, anti-Trump or pro-Trump stuff, like that's not attractive at all. It's actually very repelling, right? And so what you want to do is you want to present yourself as the attractive character. So for me, it's a picture, a good picture of myself is my profile picture, a picture of my face. So you know what I look like. Because when you're chatting with me in DM, when I'm commenting on your pictures and shit, I want you to put a name with the face. I'm not going to be a logo. I'm not going to be a team, a cartoon, any of that shit, man. First of all, that's number one sign of trolls and haters. Second thing is, right, because you see a fake profile, 100%. You immediately think some fake-ass troll bullshit, right? And so, because that's what the internet's full of, so you want a real picture of yourself. Second of all, you want a background image that represents who you are, right? Like right now, it's me and my boy Alex, and we're carrying surfboards in Costa Rica as my background picture. So you're like, okay, this dude's from Texas, but he surfs. That's interesting, And underneath there's my website. There's pictures of me and Tony Robbins and Ed Milet. There's all these things that for the people that I need to attract, they come on my profile. They see a picture of me and Billy G, me and Ed Milet, me and Andy Frisella, me and Tony Robbins, me and Tim Grover. And they're like, dude, this guy obviously gets around with people who's well known in our circle. Right. If you're a local real estate agent, right here in Dallas, you might want to take a picture with someone that's on the news, someone that's a Cowboy player, someone that's a Mavericks player, a picture with Mark Cuban, a picture with Jerry Jones. One of the pictures on my profile is me and Jerry Jones, to simulate that you get around and you network in the area, that people know who you are, right? Yep. And so when most people, what they do is they have like a profile picture and then some banner that's like text 422, for your real estate needs, or like, dude, first of all, that's the equivalent of me shaking your hand going, hey, very nice to meet you. Listen, I sell real estate. Do you know anybody who wants to buy, sell, or lease a home?
And there's a card.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And like it's a turnoff these days, right? There might be people listening going, I thought this dude was the hardcore closer and he's telling us to take it easy on people. It's because the market shift.
Yep.
We can't force the way that we used to sell on people who are making different buying decisions, right? And people are making buying decisions based on their reconnaissance that they do. They search you on Google, they search you on Facebook. So you want to be that presentable person. Do you have to wear a suit and tie and act like you go to church on Sunday and everything? No, you don't have to do that. Be yourself, but at the same time, be that attractive character. When they land on the profile, go, oh, okay, well, he looks like a decent person. Yep. Oh, his post, they're thought-provoking or they're interesting or whatever. Be that attractive character. The second thing that you got to do is you got to get their attention first. That's the attractive character. Second thing that you have to do, and this is hard for people, is you have to engage them.
Yep.
Right? So like once you get people to the profile, like every post you have should have a call to action. Lately, what I've been doing is I'm like, drop a fist bump in the comments if you agree, or drop fire in the comments if you agree, right? So that people start engaging, right? And so, because we got to get their attention and then we got to keep them interested. Yep. Right? We can't just like have one post that's interesting. They're there to be entertained. So 80% of our content has to be entertaining. So we got to be attractive and we got to entertain and keep them engaged. The third thing, this is where most people fail. Okay? You got to let people judge you. Right? And most people are scared to death of judgment. They really are. But if you're going to make it through this social media, you got to be judged. And here's the thing, so many people these days, people's first judgment is like, oh, fuck that guy. Or, in my case, it's like, he's a douchebag or whatever, right? And I get it. You know what I mean? I'm loud, I'm aggressive, and I understand. In the beginning, that bothered me because I'm like, dude, I could totally help this guy, and he thinks I'm a fucking douchebag, But now I realize that I just got to let them judge, because what happens is we all judge and rejudge. Originally, I might not have liked you, Nick. I did, but I'm just saying, originally, I might not have liked you, but had we stuck around 6 months later, we might have been best friends. You know what I mean? Yeah, if I can't get rid of you, it kind of grows on me. You know what I mean? And that's happening for me. You know, at first, people are like, this guy's loud, he's all red, sweaty and shit and everything else. Looks like Alex Jones, you know? And then, you know, 6 months later, like, I finally watched one of these fuckers' videos, and he's actually got some interesting stuff to say. Man. And so we got to let them judge us, because they'll eventually rejudge us if they judge us wrong. But we can't just, but so many people are scared, you know? They get to posting 80% of content 3 times a day, and their uncle, you know, who's a greeter at Walmart, reaches out and goes, Nick, dude, who do you think you are, Tony Robbins or some shit? Right? And you're like, oh shit, man, maybe I'm doing this all wrong. And you get this fear of judgment and you stop. But once you get past the judgment, right, what happens then is like, dude, you influence them. From that moment on, like, once they've judged you and you've kept them entertained, you got their attention to stop, like, got them to stop scrolling, you got them engaged, they've judged you, and now all of a sudden, dude, if I recommend, you know, Nick as a real estate agent, 20 people will send them a friend request, and, you know, any of those people that have a house to sell, send it to them.
Yep.
You know, I can do that with my software, I can do it with my real estate company, I can do it with my friend's company, JVs, because I've been through those phases.
Right.
But I also know that starts every day with every new person that comes in my profile. Right? They're going to judge me. They're going to see whether they like me or not. A few months later, they might have to rejudge if they were wrong.
So it's just the consistency of content. If you're putting good shit out there, that's the only way you can get to that rejudgment phase.
I think, you know, one of the best people at putting content out there, I think, is Grant Cardone. And we can take him and Ty Lopez in the same thing. And those guys put content out there and let people judge them. They don't give a shit.
Those are the two preeminent rejudged dudes.
Yes,
people
exactly.
fucking hate those dudes.
I hated both of them in the beginning. Now I like them
forever.
both. Yeah, I didn't like either one of them in the beginning, but now I really respect and like both of them a lot, right? Yep. I'm that person. I judged and then rejudged, you know what I mean? I was just at GrowthCon, you know, where both of them were there. And really the main reason I went to GrowthCon for Grant was for Ty Lopez, to see what, you know, he's doing and everything else. So they're prime examples of that. Imagine if everybody, when Ty Lopez showed up, 90% of his comments were like, this guy's a moron, blah, blah, blah. Imagine if he'd have said, oh, shit, man, maybe I'm not good. He's the most famous person in the world. Did you know that?
Really?
More people know who Ty Lopez is than Kim Kardashian.
I don't doubt it, man.
Dude, he's the #1 spender on YouTube. So imagine if he would have just listened to the first 100 people that said, dude, are you some kind of douche? Get out of here with your Lamborghini video. He didn't. He ignored all of them, let them judge him. You know what? Then they had to rejudge. Now the dude's worth. If he didn't own those cars in the beginning, which I believe he did, but if he didn't own them in the beginning, he's got them now.
Right.
You know?
So if you're watching this live, drop a fist bump down below for Ryan, please.
See, that's called implementation immediately, ladies and gentlemen.
This is what makes us successful.
Don't just read the book. Go take action.
We do take action here. So I know that. Let's speak a little bit about. Let's dig deeper on that. So how did you deal with the haters with that? So I mean, we talked about this yesterday. I know Matt and I talked about you know the perception of how you were. If it's cool that we go that direction, so we can reverse it back into then how do we take business as a new agent with social media, right? So how did you deal with those haters in the beginning, and how do you deal with them now?
Man, if there was one thing that I could take back, it would be how I used to deal with haters versus how I deal now. Yep. You see, I come from a very insecure background. As a kid, like every time some shit in our neighborhood went wrong, they were knocking on my mom's door. You know what I mean? It had to be your son, you know? And I got to a point where I got blamed for so much shit. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just take responsibility. You know, because of that, I became a very responsible person, you know? Because irresponsible people will definitely put responsibility on the backs of the responsible, right?
Right.
And so when people would comment on my ads and stuff like that, it started off with people like, I didn't friend you, how are you in my newsfeed? Remember when people confused, you know?
Didn't thought it was organic.
So it started off there, and you know, I never realized, and even a guy that's been locked up in prison, I never realized the world was so damn negative. You know, I didn't realize, even in prison, I don't think I met as many negative people as I have on social media.
Oh, 100%.
That is saying something.
I mean, it is.
That's amazing. Right.
Dude, yeah. And I was in a place called Beto 1, the House of Hate, one of the worst prisons ever, and I still don't think people were as miserable there as sometimes they are on you know, social media. And I used to try to force those people to change their mind. Well, blah, blah, blah. Then I would get frustrated and I would get mad at them, and I would make the problem a million times worse. And then, you know, I went through a phase where I thought it was really cool to call people out and belittle people and shit like that. It made me feel I guess, like, I don't know, A, it was attention because people love negativity and shit like that, but B, it made me feel like superior in some way. But one day, and I can't make this shit up, right? I was in another state drinking ayahuasca, and I had this like super huge trip, right? Like I went like out of my body into outer space, and like everything that you've seen on a Joe Rogan episode is true, right? And I'm up there, and this spiritual being, I call it the goat god. I don't know what the fuck it was, right? But this thing talking to me, this really happened. You know what I mean? Like this isn't some, you know, like this really happened. It was like, I still can go there in my mind now. And he goes, you know, you've made it this far fighting with people, but you're not going to get where you want to go fighting with folks. You got to figure out a way to inspire instead of piss them off, Mr. Stewman. And dude, I came back from that trip, and that is literally the only fucking thing I remember from that trip, but it was so profound that I went, you know what? I'm done fighting with people. So the best way to avoid a fight, right? If you're drunk and I'm in a bar and you're starting to fight with me, the best thing I can do is just walk the fuck away and ignore you. If I try to change your mind, if I try to argue with him, it's only going to make him madder, right? Especially if I start being right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, especially if I start being, it's only going to make them matter. So I had to learn to do the same thing on social media, okay? Because tomorrow when you sober up, you might call me up and go, dude, I was a total dick, man. We're still boys, blah, 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 right? But my best thing I can do is if I fist fight, you're going to hate me forever, right? Or if we argue and I say some shit about your mom because I got mad, then we're going to hate each other forever.
Right.
So I learned to ignore them. And this is the funnest part of the business now is I reply to every single comment I get except for the negative ones. I don't like them. I don't comment to them. I don't nothing. I ignore them. And it drives them crazy because people are being assholes because they need attention.
Yep.
And it drives them crazy. And one of two things happens. They eventually send me that message going, you know, I didn't like you at first. I watched one of your videos. Turns out you're right on the money to take my money, you know? Or they go away, you know what I mean? And it doesn't happen overnight, but what I found myself doing was only responding to the negative people, and I started leaving the people that were saying positive shit out because I figured, oh, they got it. I don't have to change their mind. And now I have a core value that I read to myself every morning. It's focus on my supporters, not the reporters. People that are reporting lies about me and reporting bullshit and picking me apart, I don't need to focus on them. I ignore them. And I focus on the people that are supporting. So now I've just done the exact opposite of what most people do. If somebody's hating, I might block them. I might not, but I'm damn sure not going to let them know. The only way they'll know that I even saw their bullshit comment is if they go to check again and it's blocked.
Right.
You know, and I don't have time to deal with it anymore. And I can tell you what, man, my life is a lot better because of that. Just the other day, I had an incident where somebody was messaging the wives of the speakers at a conference, right? Some shit went wrong with one of the speakers, and this dude's messaging all the wives of the speakers. It's fucking wild shit, right? This is what I got to deal with, being in the spotlight. And a year ago, I feel like I've been on a jet trying to chase this motherfucker down, you know what I mean? or calling him out on social media, just making the problem a million times worse. And my wife read me the message, and it was pretty intense, right? Like fraud and all this other shit. It's completely true, and I know what happened in the scenario. She goes, what do you want me to do about this? And I said, leave him on red. You know, you read it. It's fucking, he wants your attention. Don't give it to him.
Yeah.
You know? She's like, who is this man? You know? But a lot's changed. And because of that, my life is less stressful. And really because I didn't start fights with these guys, some of them are calling me up now going, dude, you know, it's totally wrong about you. You know, let's be cool. Matter of fact, I had a dude apply for a job the other day that used to be one of my biggest haters. Really? Like, fucking, I was wrong. Sorry, you know?
Perfect.
It's big.
Yep.
So take us down. We're a new agent. Take us down how we can get business using social media and using PhoneSites. So PhoneSites is a product that you have, and kind of walk us through how we can take some listings, right? Take more buyer business.
Yeah, either way, you know, the first thing that I'm going to do if I'm a real estate agent is I'm going to become the attractive character, right? And I got to understand that people only care about real estate when they're ready to move.
Yep.
So that means that 80% of my content's got to be about something else. Mm-hmm. So what do people care about, right? They care about things that are funny, trending articles, things that are happening in the community. So I'm going to be skimming the local news every day, finding things that are happy, and then I'm going to be asking the people their opinion, right? Because I'm going to prove that I'm deep in the local shit that's going on, right? New developments that are coming up, new builders, new news stories, people being safe, all this stuff. You know, I'm going to be talking about that on a regular basis. Then I'm going to try to find groups of, if I'm a brand new agent, and this is going to be a huge hack for those of you watching. Many of you will hear this, think it sounds great, and not do it. And that's the beauty of those of you that actually do this. You'll reap big rewards. If I'm a new agent, and this is how I built my mortgage business. And I did a shit ton of loans. Like, you know, in 2005, I made almost $1 million slinging loans. I would go find investors. I think that's one thing Nick's done really well as well, and he'll agree with me. So while the average realtor is going on Facebook going, who wants to see a house this weekend? Here's my open house this weekend, which occasionally is cool, right? But a good realtor realizes that the listing, you get it once every 5 or 6 years. If you're lucky and get repeat business, even if you're in the business that long, right? You get a listing every 3 to 5 years from the same person. An investor, you know, a guy like me, I might send you 6 deals in a year, maybe 10, maybe 20, depending on how good the economy is and how fast we're moving houses, you know? So I would go to all these investor groups, and I would go through, so DFW Investing Group, Real Estate Investing Worldwide, Dallas Investors, Fort Worth Investors, Frisco, Texas Real Estate Investing Club. I'm going to go through all these clubs and join them. And I'm not going to go into the group and say, I got an open house this weekend like every other jerk off in there, right? So what I'm going to do, and this is the game, y'all. I'm giving you the fucking game right here. Is a guy that admins one of the largest groups on Facebook every single day and has watched people make millions of dollars out of my groups. I'm telling you the game right here. I'm going to go in this group, and I'm going to search the older posts that are in there where people posted a house that they had for sale. And I'm going to start commenting on there. Is this still available? Go to the next one. Is this still available? I'm going to go to the next one. I'm talking about shit that's 6, 7 months old. And I'm going to go through their wine, because if they haven't sold that in 6 or 7 months, they probably need a fucking real estate agent. Right? And dude, it's a source of free leads. And then you sell that one house for them, they're an investor. They're probably going to give you multiple properties every year. And let's say that you get 4 deals from that one investor every year. You got 10 of those people on your team, that's 40 deals. You wake up January 1, you know for a fucking fact you're getting 40 deals every year, whether you go to work today or not. Yep. And that's a powerful feeling in real estate, because most people wake up on January 1 and go, fuck, how am I going to make money this year? Right? But because they don't have residual clients. They don't, like, one of the problems is, and I experienced this as a loan officer, the real estate agents think they're at the top of the food chain. And what I'm saying, and I'm not saying they're not, what I'm saying is they think that like everything else, like I'm the realtor, I give business to the lender, I give business to the title company, and like, dude, you can't think about that, because as a loan officer, I sent more deals to Mike Reese than he sent to me. Right. You know what I mean? And so I'm a rainmaker. It doesn't matter if you put me in the roofing business, I can still make it rain on realtors. They just fix their roof, they're going to sell their house soon. Yep. You know what I mean? And realtors, they look at it as they've got to be the supply chain for everybody, and what they do is they fall for the title rep that offers them free lunch. The loan officer that offers them tickets to a football game. How the fuck does Dallas Cowboy tickets help you sell more houses? Yeah. It's a nice gesture, but it doesn't help you sell more houses. The key is to find referral partners. Find the roofing guy. Find the insurance agent, right? Somebody makes an insurance claim, they're probably going to want to sell the house. House floods, they're probably going to want to sell it once they get it fixed, because they ain't going to want to live there anymore. It's like you wreck a car, you sell it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Make friends with those people. Make friends with, like for me, if I was a real estate agent here in Dallas, I know a lot of agents don't like TexasLending.com because, you know, they control the lead. They don't need agents. Yep. But fuck, dude, they're pumping 16, 17,000 leads a month through there. You get in with 1 or 2 of those loan officers, they will make it rain on you. I know. I used to make it rain on people from their leads all the time. But a lot of agents, they'll say things like, oh, I don't like Bank of America. Bank of America gets 1 million loan applications a fucking month. You should like them. Fuck, who cares if they don't do the loan on time? Be the person showing them houses, you know? And agents think they have to control everything, but really when you get an investor that'll send you a bunch of deals, like let's say you get like 10 investors sending you 4 deals a year, once a quarter. Then you got 2 loan officers sending you 2 deals a month, right? That's another freaking 24 deals that you've got a year. Next thing you know, you're an agent with only 10 or 15 relationships that you got to manage, but you're doing 50, 60 fucking transactions a year. And I don't know about you guys, but probably everybody watching this would like to do 50, 60, period, let alone an extra 50 or 60, you know?
100%. Yeah, no, that's I love it. So how does tie in your phone sites? Because we talked about phone sites before, and this is, I'm not plugging this. This is,
you should.
I will be eventually, but what you brought up to me before, I was like, holy shit, this is going to bring business in, right? So tell us about phone sites and how I could walk out of a listing appointment or a for sale by owner and get that listing immediately.
Yeah, so PhoneSites is a sales funnel software. So basically you can make a website. So a sales funnel, for those of you who don't know, there is a website. Traditional website is like what most real estate agents have, and it's like, hello, here's our homes for sale. Contact us if you'd like to learn more. It's like very old school, right? I don't know why I always use a British accent when I explain it, but it's very old Englishy, right? A sales funnel grabs data from visitors, right? You go on the website, it's like, if you'd like to see this home, give me your information, we'll get you on a private tour, something of that nature, right? If you like to find out what your home's worth, then enter your information, we'll let you know what your home's worth, something of that nature, okay? So a website presents information, a sales funnel collects information. So PhoneSites is a website that collects information. It's a sales funnel. Most people don't know how to code a website. You go to ClickFunnels, it's busy. You go to WordPress, it's busy. Wix makes really shitty websites, you know, and so people are like, dude, I just have to pay somebody 10 grand to do this, or I just don't do it, period. With PhoneSites, with no tech skills, doesn't matter if you're 7 years old or 70, within 5 minutes, you can make a sales funnel from your phone. So imagine this as a real estate agent. You get a lead from the internet. Yeah, hey, we'd like to list our house. You know, we need you to come by, check it out, see what you think you can give for us. You go and you make a CMA of the property. You figure you can sell this house for 300 grand, let's just say. You go and you meet the sellers. Before you go there, you show up about 10 minutes early. You take a picture of the house or maybe a video with you out in front of the house. You upload that video onto, or the picture onto a PhoneSites page. You write the address, you write the amount of money it's listed for, and the offer is to come get a free tour before the property goes live. So come see the property while it's coming soon so you can get ahead of the market, right? Mm-hmm. You walk in there, you go through your listing presentation, and you're like, and as soon as you sign the papers, I'm going to post this on my social media, and we'll have people wanting to see your house before it's even listed. Right. I've already built a website. The average agent ain't doing that shit. Right. Think about this. You got an open house, and you're going to do an open house. You go make a phone site, the picture of the open house, and you run an ad to it on Facebook for $100. Thursday through Sunday, you do the open house Sunday from 1 to 3. You know what I mean? You go there and you say, here's what we're going to do. This weekend, we're open house. I've already made a phone site with the open house on it. We're going to collect the data. The people that come by the house, we're going to talk to them, try to sell them. The people that don't come by the house, we're going to pick up the phone, call them, and find out why they didn't come and if they like a private tour. Right? Because like the sellers, they want to know you're working for them. They want, because I know, because I sell houses all the time, right? We want to know that you're doing something besides just sticking a sign in the yard, because that's all they see. When you show up armed with technology, talking about promoting it to your social media following and driving traffic to your open houses, that's what perks people's ears up. That's where they're going, dude, this guy's different. You know, and so when you show up and you can do this on PhoneSites within like 5 minutes, sitting in your car from a cell phone, and right now, if you go to PhoneSites.com, you can do it for free, right? You can sign up. I feel so strongly about this software. I'll let you build a funnel and get leads for free before you even have to pay for it. We've got training. We've got a welcome committee. Everything that you need to make you successful with it. To put it this way, I started this because I teach these live events and people struggle with technology, especially real estate agents. They really do. So I needed something that was simple. And so every time we upgrade this, we actually make it easier. Right? Like that's our whole premise of this. So you set up autoresponders, everything's all in-house and it's all easy to do. And we launched this last April, so it's been 11 months. We've helped generate over 74,000 leads for our clients with PhoneSites in less than a year. 74,000 leads in less than a year. Our clients have built 14,000 of these pages that are working right now. I mean, we've changed people's lives with this software. Yep. And right now it's still at a point where there's only 14,000 domains used. So you can really come up with creative domains and SEO and everything else that's still available through our PhoneSites platform. So I appreciate you mentioning that.
What's next? Awesome. What's next with that upgrade? I mean, so you just launched the texting sequence and stuff like that. What do you have for future releases that you know is going to be a game changer? So
the next thing is we're going to release different fonts. So you'll be able to change your fonts on the deal, and that's about it. You know, because what I don't want to do is like friends with Russell Brunson. Right. Great dude. ClickFunnels, $100 million a year, recurring revenue, great product, but it's for internet marketers. Mm-hmm. It's complicated. Yep. You and me, if we'd never done it before, there's no way we're going to have the patience to do it, right? And what he did was it started off real simple, but then he made it super complicated. Yep. And I get it because that's what his crowd wanted. My crowd's the opposite. They want it simple. Yep. And so my job is not to keep upgrading and keep upgrading. Something's worse when you buy software and they upgrade and you're like, well, shit, now it's like basically learning a new program again and I'm tied into it and I just don't want to do that. I'm trying to create the experience for the users that I like and want myself. You know?
If it does too much shit, people won't use it effectively anyway. I can't tell you how many hours I spent on lead pages just making my shit look cooler. Yeah. And I never got to the point of even publishing it, right? By the time I was ready to go, I had a different idea.
Yeah, right? Bro, and I'll tell you, too, the comment section is on fire about this stuff, dude. They're like, Stewman's content and this PhoneSites stuff, dude. I mean, they're going crazy. So we got to start to wrap it up here pretty quick, but I want to get this in, right? So, well, it's because we got 4 great guys here, right?
outside of just great actionable advice on strategy and content, you're a tremendous mindset guy. You have a phenomenal story, and that I think is half of your draw. Is people are drawn to you because of the things that you've been to get to where you are, right? For us, we work within a framework, right? We understand that if you get into real estate, there is a playbook. Now, it might need some tweaking, but I tell my team every day there's 2 things you need to do to be able to sell real estate. You need to be able to speak English and type on a computer. That's pretty much it, right? You started in an industry that was completely unproven with no framework and have built 5 tremendous businesses out of that. That doesn't happen without getting up on a lot of days and really not wanting to do what you do for a living, right? And one of the things that me, Nick, and Matt have our group running bitchy tech message about is that it's really hard for us personnel-wise to sort of comprehend when people just don't get this industry the way that we get it, right? We've all been through that same shit and somehow continue to persevere and grow pretty sizable businesses, right? And it's really tough for us to understand when people just can't have that resilience, can't continue to keep going and things like that. So we have an 87, I think, % burnout rate in real estate. It's pretty much the same as any entrepreneurial field across the board within the first couple of years. I'm thinking about this is just not right for me. I thought this was going to be a different industry when I got into it. I'm ready to just hang up the towel or throw in the towel, hang it up, go do something else for a living. Ryan Stewman knocks on my door and he wants me to keep going. What does he say to me?
Well, there was never a moment when I didn't want to quit. I mean, dude, I risked it all for this shit. I lived with my in-laws, embarrassing, and I owned it. Like, hey, here at the in-laws' house, watch me. One day I'll own a fucking house like this, and I do.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I drove here today in a $250,000 sports car. You know what I mean? Like, I have all those things I knew I would have. But here's what I know. You're going to want to quit along the way because it's a trick from this thing that's like a virus that's infected our earth called the force of average.
Yep.
And, a lot of people, what happens is they get into real estate, they make a sell or two their first couple months, and then they exhaust their warm market, and they never get it back, and that's when they quit, right? Yep. It's like, dude, I got into real estate, just made 50 grand in 6 months, I'm fucking rich, and then they don't make any more money.
Right.
And then they get behind in their Mercedes payment and everything else, right? So I've learned that when you don't want to do something, first of all, you gotta act your way into a feeling because you'll never feel your way into action.
Yeah.
I never feel like going to the gym in the morning. I just fucking do it, and then it feels good after.
Yep.
But there's something I call the G code, stands for the greatness code. And there's 4 areas of our lives that we'll just focus on those with micro commitments every single day. We're able to run whatever we want in our life. Doesn't matter what it is. Number 1 is your mindset. It's your gratitude. First G is gratitude. We have to be thankful. We have all this stuff in our lives, and we're always wanting more, but you'll never get what's next if you're not grateful for what's now.
Yep.
Every morning, as soon as I wake up, 5 things go on an Evernote that I'm grateful for. That forces me first thing in the morning to figure out something I'm fucking happy for before the force of average hits me in the fucking nose with bad news, which happens every day when you're as big as we are, right? When you got this many deals going, there's bound to be some shit that gets fucked up. So I focus on my gratitude. Every night before I go to sleep, I write down all the wins for the day. I wake up grateful, go to sleep a winner. You see the mindset programming there? The second thing is your genetics. The last thing any of us want to do is become 100 millionaires, billionaires when we're 50, 60, 70 years old and have to give all that shit to some hospital because we got sick because we didn't take care of ourselves.
Right.
So every day, exercise, eat. And genetics isn't just exercise. It's your diet and everything else, right? And I'm not saying like live with just, chicken and broccoli for the rest of your life, but be smart about it. Make good decisions. The third thing is your grind. Okay, a lot of people, and that's your business, right? A lot of people tell you, oh, you need work-life balance. First of all, scales balance when it's 0. Fuck a 0. Okay? And second of all, if I balance, like people think that means balance your time. Like if I got to work 10 hours, I need 10 hours at home with my family. When the fuck am I going to sleep? Okay, so the bigger thing here is make the time count while you're doing it. If I got 10 hours at work and only 2 hours with my family, I better make those 2 hours count. The last one, the last G is your group, the group of people you're with. We got to go out of our way to be a good friend. We got to go out of our way to be a good employer. We got to go out of our way to be a good leader. We got to go out of our way to be a good provider, service provider, whatever for our clients, right? So many people, they think that, well, I'm in good shape and I got a good business. I can be an asshole husband. I can be an absentee father. I can be a shitty friend, right? Once you, again, that's 50%. That's force of average stuff. Once you get focused on winning in all those 4 areas every single day, it doesn't happen overnight. You don't just do it one day and go, man, I feel great, you know. But you'll look back over 6 months where you've tackled those 4 areas every day, and you'll be a different person. I think I'm living proof of that.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you'll focus on those things, everything else in life will fall into place. That covers it all.
So tell me this: do you feel like you love what you do for a living?
Most days.
Do you love? That's a great answer, right? The people, and you just hit the nail on the head. The reason that people get out of this industry or any entrepreneurial field is they feel like they're not cut out for this because they felt like they would love it getting into it. The reality is, bro, for the most part, you're working to build a life that you love. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to love what you do for a living every day, right? I can't do what I love for a living because nobody's going to pay me to smoke hookah and watch Steven Crowder videos, right? There's not a lot of demand for it, right? But I love my life, and I think that's exactly, you hit the nail on the head right there.
Well, we ain't going to end it any better than that, man. That was good content, bro. That was awesome, some fire. Man. This is my first time in the room with this man. It's impressive, bro. I was smiling the whole time. I didn't say a word. I was just listening, dude.
I felt bad that Matt didn't say
hell
anything.
Hell no, dude. We watched the playback. I'm just sitting here with an idiot grin on my face the whole time. Like, God, that's good, bro. I got to rewatch this and write it down. So
I just thought that you were like Teller from Penn and Teller.
No,
This guy's the silent one. I get it. This is the whole shtick
he's the
going
mastermind.
on here.
I'm usually yakking my whole thing off, but whatever, man. Who cares? But we appreciate you coming by, man. We're going to link the phone site at the top of the post, so anybody who's interested in it, it sounded amazing to me too. So make sure to check it out. And I think that's all we got this week.
One last thing, Ryan, drop when that event's coming out. So you have this big
huge event here in Dallas. Yeah.
Okay.
When is that coming?
April 24th, 25th. We've got Billie Jean, Frank Kern, Sean Whalen, Cody Sperber, Satem Magali. I mean, dude, you name them. We got big time people coming. We've only got about 50 tickets left. So
anybody that signs up with the remaining 50 tickets, you'll throw in some books.
Yeah, sure. I'll hook that up.
Nice.
Hook him up. Leave us a review. Leave us some comments. Drop us some fist bumps for Ryan Stewman. Tag us in the comments, and we'll see you next week at 3 p.m.
Thank you, guys.
Take us out, Derek.